My name is Bob Wilson. I'm the CEO of Egg Medical in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We make radiation protection products to protect healthcare workers from harmful radiation during X-ray guided procedures.
My name is Dr. Luc Marengere. I'm a managing partner with TVM Capital, and I lead the investment strategy into medical devices, imaging technologies, diagnostics as well. And I had the pleasure to work with Bob and his team in the financing of Egg Medical.
Throughout my career, doing procedures, I would say I was a pretty average user of radiation shielding, and what most people don't know about radiation in hospitals is that when a patient undergoes an X-ray guided procedure, there's an X-ray tube below the patient, there's an X-ray detector above the patient that makes the picture that you see on the monitor. Only about 2% of what comes out of that X-ray tube actually makes it to the detector. The other 98% is either absorbed by the patient or it's reflected in the room. So every doctor, every nurse, every technologist is irradiated every case for years and years. And we now know that radiation is associated with about a 6-fold increase in cataracts, about a 3-fold increase in cancer, mainly brain, hematologic malignancies, thyroid cancer, and about a 2-fold increase in vascular disease because the vascular tree is very sensitive to radiation. So, over the years, I had a number of friends who had clearly radiation-related problems, including cancer. And it seemed like we ought to be able to protect everybody that works in this environment with an adequate shielding system that doesn't get in the way, but provides enough protection that they're not going to have health problems. So we started on that as a big mechanical engineering project, and we developed our first product, the EggNest XR, which replaces the X-ray mat on the X-ray table with a sophisticated shielding system of carbon fiber and shielding elements. And by doing that, we were able to reduce the scatter radiation for everybody in the room, not just the doctor, but everybody in the room by about 91%. But with our new product, the EggNest Complete, we've increased that protection by some very sophisticated mechanical engineering. And we're now at a level of 99.4% protection, which should allow, in most circumstances, the operator and the assistant to take off their lead apron. Now you might say, well, gosh, everybody wears a lead apron, and what's the big problem? What people don't know is that for most lead aprons, they transmit 19% of the X-ray. So a lead apron's not a shield, it's basically just a filter. It's like a pair of sunglasses. And it only covers about 60% of your body. If you think about it, your arms, your head, a lot of places that are pretty important to you. Your legs are really not covered by that lead apron. And so the ability, and these lead aprons are heavy. They're 8 to 10 pounds. If you wear these every day for 30 years, people get a lot of orthopedic problems, a lot of back problems, a lot of neck problems. There's one physician in Cincinnati last week who's a quadriplegic because of his lead apron and back and cervical spine disease. So it's a serious problem, and the ability to get rid of your lead apron but still have completely effective radiation protection where your levels are almost zero in that environment, that's very big for the industry, which really has had very little innovation for the last 50 years.
So TVM Capital is an international fund, and we look at medical device companies that are at the commercial stage in Europe and in North America. We look for differentiation, we look for transformative. And when we met Bob and his team, and they explained to us how this product can really make a difference. And again, as Bob just described, not a difference just for the actual interventional cardiologist right next to the patient, but everyone in the room. That really stood out for us. When we did the due diligence on Egg, we further confirmed this, that the fear of cancer, right, and the issues with long-term wearing of lead apron led to very real orthopedic issues. So in this particular case, we had the opportunity to invest in a company that really addressed those two issues. Also, in the last few years, having products that really take care of your hospital staff. So whether it's the technicians, the nurses, also the docs doing the procedure, has become really something that hospitals are focusing on. So this is the perfect product in the EP lab, in the IC setting, to really help out with protecting everyone in the room, and it highly differentiates itself from the rest of the competition. Before we make the investment, of course, as part of our due diligence, we also plot out the path to an exit for every single investment that we make. And then with Egg, what we did is that at the time, the company was early in its commercial stage, and there's a path on the R&D side, as Bob made a reference to EggNest Complete. So EggNest Complete at the time of our initial investment was at the R&D stage. Now it's a commercial reality. But we work with the company to establish that R&D path. We work with the company to make sure that we have the manufacturing angle lined up as well, because if this particular product really takes off, and it looks like it is, then we need to make sure that we can supply. Everyone post-COVID has learned a lot more and become a lot more sensitive to supply chain issues. So we also spend quite a bit of time on that as well. We also provide the financial backing for Bob to hire the right people and be in those positions on the marketing side and on the sales side to really drive adoption. And then adoption leads to eventually M&A interest. So this is how we every company is different. We work with different companies differently, but in the case of Egg, that's really the ongoing contribution that we've made in concert with management.
TVM has brought a lot to the table, from supply chain management, which is, as Luc mentioned, very important now, to manufacturing capability, to experts in quality and regulatory. Individuals that, oftentimes if you're a small company, it's very difficult to access those individuals or even find those individuals. I think one of our experts that you brought to us had a very high level in the FDA in radiation safety, somebody that I don't know if we could have found him. He probably wouldn't even have talked to us. So that ability to go deep into expertise has been very important. They've been a very involved set of board members for the company, and I think that's been to our advantage.